and we're literally playing this yesterday. And obviously, I told everybody on Wednesday when the NDA dropped that Dragon's Dogma 2, even though it was highly anticipated, right now it is currently the next victim for the good old boys club, aka gamers. I feel like gamers now are feeling like it really is just like the good old boy club. Like it feels like we're down in South Carolina and the gamers just have tiki torches. Like that's how it's feeling like right now. Like the hate mobs are very strong. And yesterday on Steam alone, the game got review bombed. I know I was playing it yesterday, and somebody in my chat mentioned that. And yeah, so right now the reviews are mixed because it always starts off like if there's a huge crew that's review bombing something, once the actual reviews start coming in, once like the people who don't know what's going on and aren't so aware, like the people who are not influenced by anything else and are, pretty objectified, once they come in and start giving their, like honest reviews and not letting anyone influence their opinion on it, not coming in with the automatic negative connotation, even though you barely played the game or not played the game at all, then the reviews start evening out. So right now, this game is mixed on Steam, and there are three reasons why this game is getting review bombed or having mixed reviews. And the biggest reason is the microtransactions. The biggest reason is the microtransactions, and this is valid. This is valid. You already know with me, my stance with Capcom as a whole, but the whole microtransaction thing goes for any company. Like microtransactions, I typically don't mess with. Like it's the only time that I really feel justified to even buy any microtransactions is if it's a free to play game. But if it's a game that I spend $60-$70 for, more likely than not it's going to be a hell no. Like I don't care what it is. Like I don't think that there's anything that I truly want in a game that I paid for, especially, that will make my gaming experience better. So that's just my stance. I've been like that for a while. The only stuff that I did buy like back in the day, like Call of Duty, when I was heavily into that, like I bought DLC, but microtransaction, like I bought a few Fortnite skins. I buy something. No, I ain't even buying any stuff. It's mine. I'm trying to think like other stuff that I like right now. Like the only game that I'm actively buying microtransactions in, and that's in the case of a season pass, is Marvel Snap, and I get that every month just because I'm like highly into the game. That's a game that I play every day. What's going on, Veggie? The Fast Road Micro? Yeah, I know, right? What up? What's going on? Platinum Tempest. Appreciate you for coming through. So, so that's my stance on it. So the microtransactions in Dragon Dogma 2, if you aren't aware, are things like this. Let me see if I can make this bigger so y'all can see it too. But so there are things that, and I want to preface this because there are some people that believe that these microtransactions you can't get in the game, and there are some people who are aware that you can't get them in the game but are mad about it because of the principle of it. And obviously, since I'm playing the game, I know that these things are in the game, and I'm upset because of the principle of it. I'm not upset in the aspect of I'm going to just hate on the game and send a negative review. What's going on, Jericho? Because of that. But you already know me. Like it's already Capcom, and y'all know who I am. It's gonna be forever up with Capcom until they give me Onimusha or at the very least Power Stone. So I'm already on their head. So this just like on one side of the coin. When people are mad at anything Capcom, especially things with microtransactions, I'm like, yes, like keep going. But at the end of the day, I gotta be objective. I gotta be fair. So we are going to break this down a little bit. We're gonna break this down a little bit, then get into it. So there are microtransactions in the game, and some of the things like camping gear, wake stones, which allow you to revive people that die. Because if you aren't aware, shout out to Beat the Duke for the follow. Wake stones revive the dead to life, because if you aren't aware, there's a permadeath system. So once your pawns are gone, they're gone like forever. Like you're not gonna get them back. But if you have a wake stone, you can bring them back. Rift crystals, which this is the fast travel mechanic. So this is what I was talking about yesterday when I was playing the game actively. There are certain crystals that are scattered around the entire world, and you can fast travel to those crystals, but you need a rift crystal in order to do that. So, so they have those for you to buy. They have items for you to buy to change the appearance of your character. They have those. They have particular gifts, lure items, custom sounds, so things like that, warp location markers. So again, it's a bunch of silly stuff, bro. It's only which I love that game facts. These things are in the game, and again, they're not breaking anybody over the head. They're $1 each, 99 cents each. Uh, the most expensive things are $2.99, right? And actually $4.99, because if you get 2,500 Rift crystals, that just sounds ridiculous, right? 2,500 Rift crystals, like what the heck? So, in any case, that's the most expensive thing, $4.99, right? So people are up in arms about this, and rightfully so, because I don't know whose idea was it to green like this, and thought this was a good idea, that there would be a gamer that would be like, I don't want to find this stuff again. It's not even hard. That's the crazy thing. Like, none of the things that they have available for you are hard to get in the game. Like, I got 2 Rift crystals literally while I was playing yesterday, and I used one to get back to the main town, because I'm like, I'm not going back there, like, because the fast travel system in this game is almost non-existent outside of these crystals that you could transport to. They're almost non-existent. You have this ox cart, but you can only use it during the day, and it doesn't go off the beaten path. Like, it has a specific path that it takes. So that's the only fast travel system. There's no mounts. You got to run around everywhere. You don't have any stamina. So it's just bad. It's not a good system. I don't like it. I feel like Elden Ring did it so much better, and I'm not sure why the director was like so up in arms and ready to die on this hill about fast travel. Yes, there are things that you see while you're running around, like the different pawns that want to join your crew. When we were playing last night, we ran into Cyclops just randomly, ran into other, major bosses, and that's fine. But in Elden Ring, we're acting like we didn't do that, right? Like, Elden Ring technically had no map, and you had to go around the world, you had to explore. So it still kind of forced you to explore, right? But once you got to certain points, you just saved at the site. You could go to other sites, you could level up, things like that. But it didn't ruin the experience for me. It didn't ruin the experience of exploring and finding what was there. So I don't know why the director was so up in arms about this fast travel system. You could still see the pawns. Like, I can still do literally everything that I was doing in the game, but just have save points scattered around, and have fast travel points scattered around. That's not ruining the experience. That's not having me miss out on things. So I don't know why, but off the fast travel. So back on this. So people are upset about microtransactions. He's like, oh, I got microtransactions. And again, I'm like, yes, like, maybe Capcom will finally understand, but I know they're not, because a prime example of the greediness of Capcom is Street Fighter 6. Like, Street Fighter 6 is an amazing fighter. They actually did a good job with this one, but there are microtransactions out the wazoo. Like, skins, by themselves are like $20-$30. Be for real. That's a lot of money just to spend on some skins. And keep in mind, this is a game that costs $60-$70, right? So it's not good business practice, but Capcom is going to do it. They're going to continue to do it because they're greedy. And I don't know who's running Capcom. I don't know who the execs are, but they're out of touch, and they're doing whatever it takes to make money. Like, they're just, they have good franchises, they have good IPs, but Capcom as a whole just is not doing the right thing by gamers. They just care about the money at the end of the day. So it sucks. So that's the first thing, right? The second thing is, I don't know how it is on console. I've heard some stories that on console the game doesn't play as good as well, but mostly on PC, people are complaining about the performance, which again, y'all saw me playing yesterday. When I went to certain areas, my frames dropped. So, and I have an i7, I think 12700. I have an i9 actually. Yeah, I have a i9, excuse me. So I have an i9, and I have a 3090. And even I'm still, having issues. People posting their builds are like, yo, this shouldn't be happening. And, rightfully so, it shouldn't be. So right now the game is not performing as it should. So that's one of the, even though microtransactions is important, if you can't play the game properly, then obviously that's a problem. Obviously, that's a problem that needs to be fixed with patches. We didn't even get a day one patch. Nvidia might release some drivers. They didn't release any drivers specifically for this, but I would assume they will in the near future within the next 1 or 2 weeks. So that should be coming, and hopefully that fixes the issue. And actually, just today, the Dragon Dogma team released a statement on Steam that to all Dragon Dogma 2 players, we'd like to update you on the status of the following items, about which we have received numerous comments from the community. So all those looking forward to the game, we sincerely apologize for any inconvenience. And then they address things like crashes and bug fixes that they're investigating, crashing and freezing. They're going to address the crashes and bug fixes. The option to start in a new game. So that's another thing. Apparently, there's just no option to just start a new game like at the main menu, which is weird. That's a weird thing. So we're looking to add the feature to the Steam version of the game to allow players that are already playing to restart. So that's important too. People want multiple saves. Even though on this one, like, again, you're not really locked into anything. Like, I could see, like, if it was like Elden Ring, for example, even though you could respec in Elden Ring, but if it was another type of game like that where once you pick the class, you were stuck with it, then I would kind of understand restarting the game. But for every reason, people want to restart a game. And, whenever they beat it, they want to restart it. So that's not an option right now. And then paid DLC, they address the paid DLC, and they say all the items listed can be obtained in game or as paid DLC items. So again, now if you didn't know, now you know. Like, now you heard it straight from them. So they list all the items that you can obtain in game. So just in case if you weren't sure, now you know. And then regarding frame rate, so a large amount of CPU usage is allocated to each character and calculating the impact of their physical presence in various areas. In certain situations where numerous characters appear simultaneously, the CPU usage can be very high. So that tells you right now that this game is very CPU intensive. So it's not necessarily a GPU, it's a CPU. So and it may affect the frame rate. So we are aware that in such situations, settings that reduce GPU load may currently have a limited effect. So that's what I was trying to do yesterday. I was trying to lower some settings in my in the game, try to put some shadows on low and stuff like that. And it had I barely noticed the difference. So however, we're looking into ways to improve performance in the future. So hopefully that's quickly. Hopefully they do come out with a patch that does ultimately fix the game. But that's the main reason for at least the PC players. Again, I'm not so sure about the console players. For the PC players, it's very important. Like, if you can't play the game, then what the heck? Like that's going to be a problem. So that's a legit reason to be upset, not to review bomb. Again, I don't agree with review bombing in any form or fashion, unless a game is just outright dog crap and like it's racist, sexist, bigot. Like, if it's just a game that shouldn't be out, that's the only time that I agree with review bombing. But there are other people. You may not like the company, you may not like what they stand for, but you have to understand that the people who work on these certain games, there are different factions of the publisher or the developer or whatever, and they have lives too. Like, they may not all be bad. Like, it's usually the execs, the upper management that make these bad business decisions. So I don't blame like the developers in many of these cases for the decisions that happen in in these games, and some of the stuff that we see in these games, or the lack thereof of features that we see in the games. I don't necessarily blame them, but I don't think that games should be review bombed or threatened, and all that type of weird stuff that people be doing when they don't like something. So I don't agree with that stuff, but that definitely needs to be addressed. The third reason, and this is the weirdest one. This is the weirdest reason. And I saw this and I said, are you kidding me? Like, I'm not one to judge people. I'm not one to judge people and what their fetishes are, what their vices are. But this one really kind of, and this one was a weird one. Was it this one? Yeah, this one was the one. I keep going on. So this person said that they want lowly models. They want lowly. So they want to be able to make their characters short, and they want particularly lowly models. I'm like, really? This is why we're review bombing? Because you want to make your character into a lowly? Like, nah, man. Like that. Like, out of all the things, man, I know that a lot of these games, you want to make your fantasy characters you want to make them look like, your favorite characters and stuff like that. A lot of people like cosplaying as the characters in these video games, but to be upset because you can't make your character a lowly is that one kind of, I'm like, huh? I'm like, are you serious now? Like that's the reason? Like out of all the things, that's the reason. And I'm like, all right, well, and now I really can't take you serious. I'm
What?
like seriously, that one I was like, I'm done. Like that was one that I saw even before people started complaining about the microtransaction. I'm like, you can't be serious because you want to make a lowly, and this person says, this person tried to explain. He said, furthermore, the availability of lowly models could potentially attract new players who were drawn to the game's unique style and emphasis on customization. Like, are you just like, are you projecting or something? Like, because you can make a lowly model, it's going to attract new players. I don't think that Capcom typically cares about that. I mean, if they put those microtransactions in the game, do you think they care about attracting people who want to make lowly models? No. This could help to broaden the game's appeal and increase its sales. You just want lowly models yourself. Like, don't just try to add that in there, trying to speak for the people, because you ain't speaking for me. I'm sorry, you're not speaking for me. Like, I don't care about these models. Like, trust me, I don't care about them. You're speaking for yourself. Don't say it could potentially attract new players. Like they try to make it seem like you're alienating a particular group of people because you're not putting these particular models in the game. That's what they're trying to make it sound like. You got to pay attention to how people say things and type things, and that's exactly what this is. Like you're projecting and you're making it seem like, oh, because these particular models aren't in the game, that oh no, now you're alienating me. Now it's not accessible for me. Now it's, oh, you're a Capcom. You're not being inclusive. You're not being inclusive. Like I get it. I get it. And again, I'm not hating on people who like these particular type of things. I just find I find it weird that this is something that bubbled up and people are expecting Capcom to appeal to them. There are certain things that you just have to take it for what it is. And if they don't want these models, I don't think that it was, or at least I would hope, because I'm not 100% sure. But I don't think that Capcom intentionally made their characters a certain way or locked them a certain way because they're trying to alienate the fan base that likes lowly models. I don't think that they would do that. Like that doesn't make sense to me. Like in these games, you should be able to make your character however you want, but I don't think that that was something that was intentionally done. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll take that back because I'm not going to die on that hill at all. But that just sounds like something that you wouldn't do. Like I just wouldn't understand what the purpose will be to do that. The only other thing I could think of, if this was true, is that I don't know, maybe they don't want like people to go overboard and make an offensive type of character. I just don't know. I don't know. But to be upset about that is that one I'm not accepting that. With the performance issues, yes, I'm accepting that. The microtransactions, I'm 110% accepting that. The lowly models, the fact that you can't make lowlies in here, no, I'm not accepting that. You need to go to another game if that's what you want. Like it, because this game clearly ain't it, and that's okay. That's okay because again, the entitlement is coming out, and now you're trying to make it seem like Capcom is intentionally doing this just to alienate whatever fan base that likes. It ain't that ain't it. That ain't it. So those are the three things, right? Those are the three things that people are mad about. Of course, you got the Novo, which is an anti-cheat, which is kind of weird. I don't know why anti-cheat is in single player games because this isn't a co-op game, but single player experience having de novo in it, that's I don't understand that either. So but that's like a smaller point, but the main ones are definitely microtransactions and the poor performance. So here we are. We'll obviously be keeping up with this just to see what changes end up happening. Obviously for me, I am more anticipating the performance patches. So hopefully whatever next patch comes out and or the NVIDIA driver updates will help the performance. But this isn't the GPU issue. Like they said, it's more of a CPU issue. So they're going to have to fix some things with some patches on their end in order to increase the performance. So we shall see what has been happening, but just be aware if you hear anything about Dragon Dogma 2, even if you aren't playing the game, these are the reasons why people are upset, and this is the reason why last night initially people started review bombing it, and it was mostly negative last night. Again, now it's mixed because more people are spending time with the game and they're understanding like, hey, maybe that's not fair, like let me make a more objective opinion instead of just being totally upset at it. But here we are.